Brooklyn Basement Podcast. We are back. We have a very special guest in the building, man.
Holla back, youngin'.
So we got Kim in the building.
Yeah, Kim, thank you for coming.
Imaginary hand claps.
Yeah, we got to.
Yeah.
How the fuck is she getting fans in Georgia?
I got fans in Korea, yo.
Korea.
Hawaii.
Do you like Korean food?
California. I don't really like Korean food. I like Chinese food. Like I haven't really tried Korean food since I stopped smoking crack. So maybe I'll try some soon. You know?
Yeah.
When I was smoking crack, I never tried Korean. I only tried oodles and noodles.
Thank you for
Welcome
coming.
to the Brooklyn Basement Podcast.
Yo, when I was scared to come in the basement, yo, I heard Brooklyn basement. I was like, is there 2 ways out? Because when I was smoking
That's what
crack,
she
I was
asked.
in the basements.
Right.
I was scared of the basement, yo, because there was only 1 way out. So when I came down the basement, I was like, yo, is there 2 ways out? Rich was like, what you plan to do, rob them? I was like, nah, I just want to make sure.
That's just not a setup, right?
Yeah. Nah, I didn't think it was a setup. I felt comfortable when I walked in.
First of all, we want to say 2 congratulations. You just had another grandchild, right?
Yeah. He's about 10 days old now.
Oh,
Yeah.
35 days clean.
That's the
that's
second
big.
thing. 35
Holla
days.
back, youngin'.
Holla back, youngins.
35 days, 10 days. What's his name?
His name is Lotto, and I named him, y'all.
Nice.
So I was in my room, right? And I was trying to figure out a name because she was naming these weird names, and it wasn't making no sense to me. So I looked at, I just came up with Lotto. And I like to play the Lotto. Like, I always had $1 in a dream. So I called Riz. I was like, I got the name for him. Perfect name. Lotto.
Subscribe to Brooklyn Basement. Spider Cuz said it, and if you don't, you're gonna be in the basement.
Not
Bow.
this basement, though.
Not this basement.
Not this basement. Not this.
Yeah.
You from Bushwick Projects? No.
I'm from the Lower East Side, but I've been in Bushwick for about
Okay.
20 years now.
Where you from in the lower?
Delancey Street.
Oh.
Lower East Side, lose everything,
Nice.
smoking.
Oh, so you when you go from Delancey to, because that's 2 different boroughs.
So I was in Delancey, and I went to a shelter with my kids, and then I got an apartment in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And that's when I started doing drugs, and everything went downhill.
Oh,
Bushwick
wow.
is my downfall. I could say Lower East Side is where I was in doing drugs.
When was the first time you started to get high?
Well, so the truth, I moved from the lower to a shelter. I was with my kids in the shelter. I was clean. I was striving I was doing everything right. Then I moved to Brooklyn, and I moved to Brooklyn maybe June, the end of June, and July 4th, I started getting high. And I was not only getting high on crack cocaine, I was getting high on heroin too. I've been clean almost 22 years over heroin completely. I never did heroin to get high. I did it to get straight. Like my body needed it. I didn't really like the high. So I got locked up and I completely detoxed in jail. And I came out and I just loved crack cocaine. That was my new thing. I never experienced this by itself. So when I experienced the first hit by itself, it took me off to the races. I was like, it's over. And that's when I overdid it. You know, I overdid that drug. I overdid. If I could get a refund, y'all, on my money, I would not be in this chair right now. Believe me. I'll be on a beach somewhere drinking pina coladas with the money stacked up.
How did you get introduced to it? Was it hanging out with friends?
I was telling one of my little friends of mine that was here, sometimes love is hard because I felt like I was in love with somebody and I had to follow everything they did. And I wound up being addicted to drugs, losing my kids. I lost my apartment. Let me tell you, I went to a shelter. I got my own apartment. I wound up losing my apartment, my kids, my life, my dignity, my pride over somebody that I felt like I was in love with. It wasn't love. I was just not loving myself. You know what I'm saying? So I guess, I always tell the young kids, like, love is hard. It'll make you do things that you can't believe that you're doing. So, like, just make sure you love yourself before you decide to fall in love. Because if you don't love yourself, you can't be in love with nobody else.
So that individual at that time was the one that introduced the drugs?
I don't blame him for now. I was just seeing him high, and I wanted to be like somebody that I didn't really even love,
Yeah.
Yo, let me tell you something, Des. If you're in the background trying to ask questions, but I can't recall a year ever since I started getting high. I don't even know the year I was born sometimes, I'm not gonna sit here and lie on the microphone because I'd be not being true to
Right.
myself. But I know my daughter's years of their birth because they told me now. But I blocked out a lot of years. Like, I don't know the years.
Because you
I don't know
lost them and
dates.
stuff like
Yeah.
that throughout the years.
So when
Right.
you're getting high, like, you don't even know the day of the week.
Right.
Every day is a Friday. Every day is my birthday. You know what I'm saying?
Another thing that I saw in one of the videos, speaking of your daughters, now since you cleaned up, you guys were by the pool, and it was like she gets to spend some more time with you.
Let me tell you
because
something.
she
Being
missed-
clean and sober, made me and my daughter so close. Like, and they always try to be close to me. And you know, it's sad to say that when I was on drugs, I used to like the phone would ring, and I would press like I would press decline because I felt like I was so depressed with myself that I didn't even want to be a mother. I cared about drugs more than I cared about my kids, and that's a true story. Like, people don't understand addiction is real. Like, you don't even care about yourself, you don't care about your kids, you don't care about nothing. All you care about is the next motherfucking drug. And this shit is sad. Like, life is sad being addicted to drugs. Like, that's why I don't want to go back. I was just suffering from straight up depression. You hear me?
See, true story. That's right.
True story. Like, yeah, God ring the phone. You hear me?
God said you
God's
meant to
calling
be-
you. God's
Let me know
calling
my
you.
phone. Yeah, could you? I'm throwing down here.
Uh,
I'm not throwing my new phone, Riz.
So now you get to try to make up some of that lost time.
Like, I'm not even calling it making up. I'm starting a new beginning. Like, there's nothing you can make up from the past.
Right.
You got to start new beginnings, you know? So I call everything that I'm doing now new. And I, like, you know, when people come up to me in the street and they be like, you know, you're inspiring us. God put you in an angel's way. Like, I be thinking, like, maybe that's what's happening. Like, my sister had passed away, and I feel like God bless my sister up there. I feel like she's strived me to do this. She's my angel, you know? She's there protecting me and making sure I do the right thing.
You just made 35 days clean. Is this your first time trying to get clean?
No, this is not my first time. So I was on parole, and I was forced to get clean. So I was in a program for 9 months, and I did everything to get out of the program. I didn't change none of my behaviors. I just looked clean. So I was still stealing. I was still doing
Right.
things. I still had reservations. Like, I just wanted to get out for parole. So I never really changed anything about me. I just stood clean to get off of parole. This time around, I changed everything. You couldn't catch me stealing in the store. I changed the people I've be around. I changed my atmosphere. I changed my whole self-consciousness about everything in life. So I think this time is because I want to stay clean. The first time was just to get off parole. I was on parole a long time in my life, and I just couldn't see myself trying to go back to jail. So my man gave me an ultimatum. He was like, I'm not going to answer the phone to you no more if you get locked up. So I said, let me go to this program.
This newfound TikTok fame, you've been getting a lot of support in your comment section or when you guys are on live. I see people in Florida, Texas, all over the different states, and every day they tuning in.
It's kind of weird because, like, they say I'm inspiring them. So I never looked at myself as somebody to inspire anybody because I was feeling so depressed about everything I did. So now I'm telling them I'm inspiring them. They don't even know how much they're inspiring me.
Yeah,
I make
right.
these videos and I go home to watch what they have to say about it. So, like,
Right.
they keep me clean. Now, they don't probably even know. So all y'all followers out there that's watching me right now in the Brooklyn basement,
Yeah.
y'all keeping me clean and y'all probably don't even know it. Holla back, youngin'.
When was the first time you saw the comments from complete strangers that kind of boosted that inspiration?
When I first started my TikTok, I wasn't clean. I was still dipping and dabbing. So I was like, I could say my first video, I was high as a kite. That turkey story, I was high as a kite telling that story. And then when I ran home and read the comments, it made me feel good about myself a little bit. Like, people was really interested in me. So I felt like I had to do a change in me because they liked me being high. Imagine liking me being sober.
Right.
So, like, when I was in jail, I had a lot of friends, a lot of people liking me, and I was clean. So I looked at it like in both perspectives. If I'm clean, they're going to like me more because if they like me when I'm high, so just imagine me being clean. So I started weeding myself off. So then I was down to 2 days, two a day. You know what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden I went with nothing. And I just kept on and on and on. And it's been 35 days, y'all.
In one of your videos, either the video or on your live, you guys were walking into the supermarket. You were saying how I should not be able to come into the supermarket because I should steal here and all that. But now, you know what I mean? You're going in there.
And let me tell you something. And I did that supermarket dirty. They was like, they was taking advantage of me, really. I was selling them everything they needed. So then I just got mad one day. I felt like they owed me something. That's the problem with drug addicts nowadays. Like, we feel like you owe us. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when our down and out days, we go to people acting like they owe us something, and they don't owe us shit. But our sick minds thinking you owe us. So I thought the supermarket owed me. So I went in there and decided to take whatever I wanted, feeling like it was okay because they owed me. But that's the addict behavior, you know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't owe me shit, but that day they owed me.
Right.
So, yeah, and they didn't allow me in the store. I had to come to the door, and I'd be like, can I come in? And they was like, no. Now that I'm
So
clean.
you got a picture in the supermarket of you with a pack of meat? No.
No, I got a picture in one supermarket with a big sausage.
Okay.
I tried to steal we was just playing around, me and my friend.
Right.
I was like, she was like, let's go in the supermarket and steal. So I decided to steal the big salchichons, big ones. And I got a picture with me with the big sausage.
There wasn't no
That's
barbecue
hilarious.
going on tonight.
No,
Yeah, just
I don't
saying.
know what made me steal a sausage, yo. I was gonna eat it anyway. I didn't give hell. You know what I'm saying? When you high, you eat anything. Like my favorite meal was oodles and noodles, yeah.
And salchichon at that day. That
Yes,
you could make a
yes.
soup
I
that
love
day.
salchichon. I still love it. That was a big one too, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like I been with a big sausage. Like, hey, holla back, youngins.
Yeah, you tell a lot of funny stories online on your TikTok page.
You want to hear my first story I told? My first story that blew me up?
Sure.
True story, right? I was running from parole, right? So I'm always
Good start.
running.
That's a good start.
Yeah, I was always running from parole, but I was running from parole, right? And I was smoking crack, so I was running, and I don't go nowhere but my house to smoke. I don't go to people's houses. I always smoke in my house, so I had to find a place to hide. So I was like, I looked at the refrigerator, and I didn't have no food anyway, so I took the shelves out, right? And I would practice. I would take a hit and get in the refrigerator. Like before they came 2 times looking for me. They couldn't find me. So it's 2 days before Thanksgiving, y'all, right? I'm in the shower. My man's like, parole's at the door. So I ran butt-ass naked to the refrigerator, right? And I think my little footprints. So they opened the refrigerator and said, look at the turkey right here. So, and that's a true story. And then they didn't even want to let me put on clothes. I was like, what the hell? They was like, take her. I was like, what do you mean I got to put on my clothes? They're like, look at the turkey right here. When I go to parole, they be like, that's the girl that was in the refrigerator. You better check the refrigerator when you go to her house. Every time they came
That
looking for me.
became your nickname?
Yeah, the refrigerator lady. And every time they came looking for me, the first place they would go was the refrigerator.
That's hilarious.
That's a good spot, y'all.
Yeah.
Yuri.
And when you get high, right, you start getting clever with like things you trying to sell, trying to boost, trying
Yo, I could sell anything getting
Right.
high.
What's the illest shit you ever tried to sell?
L.E.S thing, you don't really see my stories, so check this out. I found a whole bunch of left sneakers, y'all, right? So a whole bunch of left sneakers, right?
Right.
So I was gonna, and they was Jordans. Every high class sneaker was left foot only. So I put 2 left feet in the box, and I went to Graham Avenue, right? So I was acting like they was the best sneakers in the world. They was like, I was starting off at $60, right? And the guy was like, I'll give you 30. I was like, take it. Don't. They was, let me try it on. I was like, you can't try it on. They hot. So then this guy was like, he came back and he was like, you know, you sold me 2 left feet. I said, what the fuck you expect for $30, yo? You know what I mean? Like, I felt like it felt like everything I was doing, I don't care. It was ripping him off. But in my mind, he was taking advantage of me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so I felt like it
Right,
was
right,
okay
right.
to me. Everything was, I had a cover up for everything I did. Whatever I did, it was a reason why. And that was a sick thinking, y'all. I could make up a.
Where the fuck do you get those all left shoes? Out
It
of
was
the
in the
shoe store?
lobby of a building. They must have been like working from a warehouse or something.
Right.
Or I don't know when they stole them themselves. You know right? You'd be surprised who steals nowadays.
That's crazy. All left shoes.
when you're in that state of mind, you say anything to either get money or
I wasn't really saying to get money. I was gonna get the money. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And like if my addiction was at least $200 to $300 a day daily. Like I was a hustler when it came to stealing. I'm looking in the garbage. You don't be surprised the shit I found in the garbage. I had no shame in my game. I was going out there and the hustle. It's harder to use than to stay clean. Believe it or not, because that day I didn't have no soles on the bottom of my shoes. Like I would get a pair of sneakers, the sole will be gone in 2 weeks. I would have so I would have holes in them shits. Rocks was going through them shits. Literally not cracked rocks. I was walking miles a day.
What's probably one of the things that you regret most having to do to get some money to get
Honestly, there's a lot of times I had to sell my body, maybe, and or act like I was gonna sell my body. Like there's things that women do out there that they're ashamed of, and I'm not sitting here and act like I never did shit that I regret. There's a lot of things I regret. The most thing I regret is losing my kids. You know, like I took drugs over my kids. There can't be nothing worse than that.
So after all these years of getting high and getting locked up and 2 left foot. And,
So yo, you don't even know the biggest thing of my story. UPS Bandit. My TikTok is called Cracking It with Kim UPS Bandit. Right? True stories by Kim UPS Bandit. So I went upstate for stealing from the UPS truck. So like everybody always asks me on my TikTok, what does UPS mean? And I think I repeated myself like 100 times. So I'm gonna tell the story on your podcast, so maybe they won't ask me no more. So I used to, back in the days, they didn't have the camera on the truck, so I used to follow the truck around with my bike. It had a basket on it, and the guy would come out the truck, and I would go in. I would fill up the black bag with packages, and I put it in my little bike, and I'll drive away. And I used to get some good shit, y'all. Like, I was dropping packages down the block, and they caught me. They had me for 2 packages, so they didn't charge me federally. They went and looked for the complainants. They were so thirsty to catch me. They actually looked for the people that owned the packages, and that's how they charged me. So it got dropped down to burglary instead of federally, because I could have got federally charged. Thank God,
And by that time, you had a big rap sheet already, too, right?
Yeah, petty larceny. This is my first felony.
She smiled like, yeah, I did that.
Because I ain't shit.
So Kim is an original pirate, what they call
Yeah,
it, porch pirate.
She's
an original porch
no,
pirate.
that's what I say. I was the first. Like,
Yeah,
I be
she's
proud of that.
OG
like
porch
sometimes
pirate.
I be like, I'm the first person stealing packages.
That's
like
crazy.
they learn from me. That's nothing to be proud
When
of.
she said UPS Bandit, all right, back in Bushwick, they used to be a setup. You used to go down Flushing Avenue. They used to set the light up to turn red. And when it turned red, dudes used to come out of nowhere, snip the lock, open the truck, and just jump in the truck and take things out. That's back in the so I thought.
So you was part of the crew, huh?
No, I saw this all happen. I was a kid.
He probably my co-defendant on the down low.
No, when I was a kid,
He was picking up the packages I dropped.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh shit, they dropped something. Let's go get it. It's a shirt. She was actually following UPS.
Yeah, that was my job. That was literally my job.
Your job.
Yo.
And how much time did you wind up getting for that?
I got a 2 to 5, but I did like a year and a half, and I did shock and came home. And then what's the sad story? I was on parole and did the same shit again. Like, that's the addiction took you. Like, I had a 13 number. I just came home. I was stressing for drugs. I did the same crime again, thinking it was gonna be a different result. And I got sentenced to a 2 to 4 concurrently with the. Concurrently with the 2 to 5. So I'm ended up doing shock again. You know what I'm saying? But I stood on parole from 2013 to 2022 for packages.
It wasn't just packages.
She said packages.
Also, all the other shit that you had going on.
No, but it was like a 2013 to 22. I would go to parole court. I would tell the judge, I did my time already. It's time for you. Like, why would you give me a violation? I already did my time more than what you were sentencing me to. See, you always that's the problem with addicts. They always got an answer for everything.
They become lawyers. They become everything, right?
I was my own lawyer. If I would have looked up burglary, because you know what burglary stands for? It stands intended to commit a crime. How can I intend to do anything? I was under the influence.
So you wasn't thinking straight.
Yeah, like how can I intend
She's
to
telling
do
the
it?
judge, y'all,
Yeah.
it wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
not
I saw you in the sofa. It wasn't me. I saw you in the UPS truck.
Wasn't
It wasn't me.
No way, Your Honor. I was not there.
I saw, and I don't, we could take this out, whatever, but I saw that one of your daughters is in the program now. Is that for a similar situation?
So yeah, I'm not ashamed to talk about my daughter. Yes, they say the apple don't fall far from the tree. My daughter wound up being in a active addiction too, and she was really bad in the street, and she was in and out of jail. And the last bit is when she went into jail being pregnant, and she was like a month pregnant. So her first prenatal, she tested positive, and then she stood clean, and she came home and stood clean. She came home from jail to a program. She was in like a mother and child program too, but it wasn't inpatient. It was like a transitional housing, so they had a lot of freedom. But she stood clean and everything, and she gave birth, and they tried to use her past against her because she had kids when she was in her addiction, and they removed them from her custody. So, they try to hold her past against her, which I think is really sad because that's like me, clean 35 days, and now they see me in the street and they try to say, oh, you have a past. That's my past, and I'm doing something different. So if you're trying to change your life, they shouldn't. That's like when you get locked up. Oh, you have this, that you did last year. They charging me for what I did last year, and they're charging me for my crime today. And that's the sad part of the world.
Right.
Like they charging you with your past instead of your present. And, they try to do that to her, but God works in mysterious ways, and she wound up being strong this time and really wanted to stay clean too. So I feel like we're in recovery together. We're here to support each other, and I'm not gonna turn my back on anything she's going through. I was there every day of the court hearings, every day that she needed me to cry on the phone too, and she wound up pulling herself together and getting her son back, and they're in a program together, and they're gonna be bigger and better things in life. She might come out to be a counselor because she's gonna do anything it takes to be in her son's life. And that's the good part of life. Like, she really wants to stay clean, so she's gonna be okay.
And that's got to be an like interesting situation to be in as a parent, right? Because you
It's
feel it,
sad
and
because
then on top of that, a parent that dealt with the same struggle, so you understand what her mom may be going through, and so what is your thought process in that and trying to like deal
like
with
so
both?
like when you're in a program, like when I was in shock, I always there's a program called ASAT, and they always teach you about how it's a cycle, like, and you have to break the cycle. And I used to be like, cycles, like my kids wasn't using. I'm like, they ain't no fucking cycle, because nobody in my family did drugs. I started the cycle, you know what I'm saying? So I already never believed in that, but it's true. Like, if you don't break the cycle, if you don't, like, how many days I would go to sleep and I would be thinking about her and what she was going through, because I knew what I was going through getting high. So every days I'd be like, damn, I would get high so I couldn't even think no more. So I didn't have to think about what she was going through in the street. It's like, it's bad. Like depression, if you getting high nowadays, you're definitely suffering from depression. And depression is so hard to deal with, especially when you're on drugs, because your brain is not like even straight minded. So just imagine how much depression you're feeling. Like at the end of my recovery, at the end of my addiction, I was just smoking and getting in the bed and going to sleep. Like, I was so depressed. Like, I didn't like nothing about myself. I didn't like nothing about anything. I just wanted to sleep. There days I would sleep 3 days straight. You know what I'm saying? Like, just get up and eat and lay back down, unless I had a drug. Like, I couldn't cope without a drug, and it's sad. Like, you can't cope without drugs. Like, that's bad.
And how did you first hear about it? Did she come up to you, or did you hear?
No, I could tell. Like, she didn't have to tell me. One addict knows another. Like, I could tell she was using, and it just broke me down even more. I should have stopped then, but that didn't even stop me. That's why drugs is the root of all evil. Like, like, I didn't even stop when she was using. Like, I kept going. She was the first one to get clean. You know what I'm saying? And I refused to see her suffering clean. So I tried to do it for her then. You know what I'm saying? Because she was still suffering because I was using. So she was clean and still worrying about me. Like, she worried about me so much. Like, she called me to really worry about me. And it made me really feel bad. Like, my daughter's was in the same situation as me, and now she's clean and she's literally not caring about anything but me. So could say was one of my pushes to get clean. And my youngest daughter too, let me tell you, she's a great mom. Like, she suffered being raised with her grandma. My son and my daughter, they suffered being raised with their grandmother due to my addiction. I was never in my son's life at all. He was born, his grandma took him to the hospital. Drugs take over everything. Like, from people that are still using out there, it's sad. Like, they need to just give it up for maybe a minute, an hour, a day. Maybe they'll see a new side of life. Like, I have a lot of regrets, but if I sit here and say I'm going to live with my regrets and sit in that, I will never make it in life. So I have to just not go back to where I came from and just move up from the new beginning. That's why I call it a new beginning, a new chapter of my life.
People could say like, "Oh, that could never happen to me," and I'm sure at one point you thought that also. And then
Yo, let me tell you, I used to have my daughter's father's family. His sisters was in addiction, and I used to look at them and I'd be like, I'll never be a crackhead. You know what I'm saying? I'll never smoke crack. And then at one point I was just looking just like them, and I can never say I would never go back to drugs because I would never know. You know what I'm saying? I just have to be clean for me today. Every day is a new day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't say I would never go back to drugs because that would be something you can't predict. You know what I'm saying? You just have to
one day at a
believe in
time.
yourself, and you're gonna be okay. When I stop believing in myself, that would be the day I probably go back to drugs. Like, I can never say I'll never use drugs again because that'd be a whole lie to myself. I just gotta believe that I'm not gonna be the same person I was then, and I want to be the same person I am now.
That's awesome. So going back to the TikTok thing,
Her new
we-
drug. Her new drug.
Holla back,
Her
youngin'.
New
new
drug. Her new drug.
All right.
Yeah, I can say that's a new improved drug, you know?
It's a
How
good
does
one.
Drug that everybody wants to get.
How does this happen in less than 40 days? You accumulate almost 200,000 followers, people rooting for you all over the globe at this point. And what does that feel like now that like every time you're going on TikTok, you see these people saying, oh, you count the numbers like 29 days clean, 30 days
You know
clean.
how it feels to me? It feels like I got a family I always wanted. Because my mom and pops died when I was young, and I was like going from group homes to group home. So I got the family I always wanted, y'all. You are my family. You know what I mean?
Now
That's
the
how I
world.
feel.
The world is her family now.
Yes.
But
And it's
you-
a shame. Like, I never thought the world can help me. Like, I always thought sad about the world when I was using. Like, ain't nobody helping nobody. But, like, people, there are good people out there. Like,
Well, your story's real, and
Yeah.
your life is real, and that's what they're attaching themselves to. The realism, because the
And
shit is addicting, and
the
and
honesty.
it's sad. Addiction is, like, for people that have family that's in addiction, don't turn your back on your family. Because that's the worst thing you can do to an addict. Like, they're not going to listen to you. Believe me. You could talk out your mouth 100 times. But one day, that mouth, one word you might say might click. So never give up. You know what I'm saying? Just keep wasting your breath if you feel like that, whatever you feel like you're doing. But just don't turn your back. I'm not saying let them in and steal all your stuff because that might happen. Just don't turn your back, you know?
So it becomes a little hard, right, for the family members that who are not getting high to consistently be there for someone when they
You
go
can't
through that.
consistently be there for
Right,
an
that's
addict.
because then
I'm
they get
just
used to
saying,
that,
when they
right?
call you on the phone, you don't have to, because they don't ever say, here's $1, because they'll never stop calling you for $1. So don't do that part. You know what I'm saying? Just keep giving them the okay that you still love them, and you're going to always be there for them. You have to draw the line. You have to be honest with them from the beginning. I'm not giving you money. You know what I'm saying? If I have extra money, because I'm the type, if I had extra, to this day, if I see somebody using and I got an extra $10, I'm going to give it to them. I don't care if they go use with it. Just because I know the days when I was struggling, I wish somebody would have gave me $10 and I didn't have to go steal. So, like, I'm not saying I'm agreeing with what they're doing, but whatever they decide to do with that $10, I'm okay with it today. You know what I'm saying? So if you have a couple extra dollars and you feel like giving it to your family member, give it to them. Just don't give them, let them make it a habit. You might have saved their life with that $10 you gave to them to do with the little drugs they had. They might have did something and not made it back to the next day. You know?
So the TikTok thing started with Riz one thing.
Let me tell you something.
How does it tell us
So,
day
the
one?
true story, right? Riz and me know each other for years, right? And Riz was a person that didn't really want to bother with me when I was using. He never stopped talking to me, but he wouldn't conversate with me more than 5 minutes just because he was dealing with his mom that was in addiction. And I guess now I know why, because he didn't like to see me like that. So he would never not say hi to me. Like, and every time I see Riz, I'd be like, you got $1? You got $2? You know what I'm saying? And then at one point, he stopped giving me $1 or $2. So I stopped talking to him when I see him. I was like, you know what I'm saying?
That's the
Like,
manipulation in you, right?
no, like I was like, oh, now he don't want to give me $1 or $2. Like, it's okay today, Riz. You know what I'm saying? And then one day, like, he was with my friend that I'm really tight with, and they were sitting on the bench together. So I went to Riz, and I was like, I know I'm going to annoy his ass right now, but I still was high, and I was feeling a little nice. I took a little shot of Amsterdam, and I sat on the bench, and I just started talking my ear off. And I was like, yo, Riz, you think I could go viral with something? He was like, what? I was like, oh, you want to hear it? So I was like, okay, you think if I get a rat and walk it if you think if I get a rat and dress up like a cop and walk it through the projects, I'll go viral? And he was like, Kim, where you going to get a rat from? I said, from the projects. You know what I'm saying? Then I was like, no, from the pet store. And I was like, I bet you I could tell you a story right now and I'll make you laugh. And he was like, I'm going to tape it. I said, go ahead. And I told him the refrigerator story, right? And he started dying laughing, right? And the next day he came to me and was like, yo, Kim, you want to do more stories? And that's been our relationship then. But let me tell you, it's not only a video relationship. Riz been my backbone. Like, honestly, him and his wife, they've been my backbone. My husband, his family, they've been my strong backbone in this journey of being in recovery. They help me through anything I need. Not even anything I need. They're there to listen to me when I'm just babbling. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I just be babbling on. I don't even make sense to myself. You know what I'm saying? But they always there for me. They never turn my back on me. And me and Riz is like a brother. He's like a brother I never had, you know? His wife is like a friend I never had. And my husband is like a husband I never had because he never really, I did a lot of things to him during my addiction. So like everything is something I always wanted. So,
How long you been married to your husband?
well, I'm not legally married, but I've been with him almost 22 years. So I can say like our relationship is 1,000% better. Today I had an outfit on and he was kind of jealous, yo. I went outside and he kept on calling me like, you gotta come change that outfit. You gotta come change that outfit. And I went home and changed the outfit. He even called Riz on the phone and was like, Riz, would you let your girl go out with something like that? You know what I'm saying? It was not even nothing. It was just like a one-piece outfit.
Right.
But he still gets jealous, y'all. And like
He loves
and,
you.
Yeah, and it felt great, like to get that back, like because we lost all of that, and to get that little thing back that we was missing, it feels great. Like I could go home and not have to hear him say, I'm tired of your fucking ass, and all this other dumb shit that I was hearing. You know what I'm saying?
Is there a time like I liked you better when you was getting high and you wasn't home?
No, he never said that. No, let me tell you what he used to do. So I'd be like, when I come on from a mission, I would be so tired, and I would try to go to sleep, and this is the time he wants to clean under the bed. He'd be like, get up, I gotta clean under the bed. I'd be like, oh, now today you wanna clean under the bed? Knowing that I'm dead ass tired. So that's how he would try to be spiteful at that time. He's like, now you think you're gonna sleep all day? And I gotta clean under the bed. But we're back to normal now. And I know I could really say I love him to death. Like, yeah, he's my husband. Like, he's my best friend, you know, like he's everything I want in a man right
So
about
you
now.
think you might finally pull the trigger and really get married? Maybe?
I don't know about that. Yo. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about dun dun dun. I don't know about
Come
that.
on.
Holla back, youngins.
The old ball and chain.
Yo,
come
I'm
on.
be having that song. Holla back, youngins. Dun dun. We gonna get married to that
Yeah.
shit.
People, they want to see the man behind the camera.
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna see if Riz gets a holla back, youngins. Welcome,
make a final
welcome,
introduction.
hello to holla back, Riz. Come show the camera who you are.
Let's get the imaginary hand claps again. Ah.
Don't put my brother too many questions and make
Nah,
him feel
nah, nah,
uncomfortable.
nah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Just let him show his face and be quiet.
gonna
Just
sit
2
down
or
with us,
3
right?
comments.
Yeah, put him on that side next to
Come
Kim.
on inside.
Right next to me, Riz. He can feel comfortable. I know this is a big step for Riz, y'all.
This is
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
But he's a good person, but he likes to be the man behind the camera. So this is a big step for him.
1 2 1 2.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
All right.
So we got Riz on.
I love you, Riz. It's a big step in our little relationship, you know?
Love you too.
Let's start with this. Well, she had said that Riz's mom had kind of went through the same thing. So what was it, Riz? Was it like kind of saw your mom and her and you wanted to help her?
Yeah, towards the end of my mom's life, like our relationship was getting a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I never had a shitty relationship with her. It's just, she was having an addiction.
Right.
So we never really had the opportunity to like get that super bond like we had towards the end of her life. And I don't know, she does a lot of shit that my mom used to do. I don't look at Kim like my mom. I respect her like it, if that makes sense.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
I just want to genuinely see her win. I got a lot of love for Kim.
Yeah.
And
I
I
got-
genuinely
I
want
got
to
a lot
really...
of love for Riz too, because Riz is a positive person in my life. He don't use drugs. He changed his whole life around. He went from the
Yeah.
bottom to the top. Like, he don't associate with anything that's negativity, to get himself back in the situation that he was in. And his whole life went from a little circle to a whole circle of positivity. So, like, he's a positive example for me, which is great, Riz, I'm just happy you on my podcast. You don't have to talk too much.
No, he's
I don't
here.
want you.
I got it.
I
I got it.
I don't want you to
That's-
make you feel uncomfortable because
Yeah.
I know it's very uncomfortable for you.
No, I'm
so you
okay.
just have to just say hi to the followers.
Yeah, because everybody,
Yeah,
everybody be loving you like, yo, but we want to see Riz. We see him on the live.
but
Like,
like now y'all see him,
Yeah.
then you won't see him no more.
this also like helps like when people see Riz, they can see like this is genuinely someone trying to help a friend versus it look like some kind of come up or something.
Let me tell you something. I come up nothing. Like, Riz don't ask me for anything. Everything I earn, everything I make is mine. Riz always tells me we help each other out because I keep Riz positive and I give him something maybe he didn't have in life. You don't have to be drugs that you have. Sometimes a friend is more than you looking for, you know? So maybe I'm just a friend to Riz right now and helping him go through something he's going through that he don't even know about yet. He'll figure it out sooner or later, but right now he don't get anything from me. Anything I'm earning, anything I'm making is mine. He don't ask me for anything, and that's the honest truth. Like, anything I make is mine. Holla back,
It's
youngins.
crazy. I'm listening to her, right?
Yeah.
And I think when like I have people that in my family, of course, that did crack or whatever, and I think that you guys make the best counselors ever. You just sounded like a
we
fucking
we pinky in the
counselor.
brain.
You sounded like a fucking counselor right now.
No, I
Yeah,
don't.
I Grizz is finding something out of his life that he don't even know about. Like, how the fuck?
No, I don't mean it like that. I'm
No,
just
no,
saying,
it's not a bad thing.
I
It's
just,
that,
I,
you know,
I just.
you're
I'm
right
just-
though.
I'm
We
just-
all. That
Everybody,
one
like,
word,
like
you
this,
said.
drugs is not the only addiction in life.
Right.
People are suffering from financial problems, homelessness, hungerness. Like, this is not the biggest problem in life. There's so much things going on that I have to deal with now. Like, I have to deal with so much other things beside addiction now. It don't get any better. You just have to fight the battle, you know?
Right.
I'm going to put on my armor gear and I'm going to be doing the karate shit. And like, you know what I mean? I'm going to fight the
and it's
world.
also-
Fight the power. What's that song? Fight the power.
Oh, Public Enemy. But it's also an interesting tag team, right? Because it's two opposites. One from the user's perspective, and then from Riz, he was the dude in the streets.
Right.
You can fill it in, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
I
so-
did my time for
Right, he
for it,
did
so
time.
I'm open to
so
speak.
It's like,
You know?
so that's what also makes the situation interesting is because, you know, you guys both changed your lives and y'all all from the hood, but in a sense from different lenses.
Right.
And
right.
now y'all helping each other
When-
out. Where back in the days, a situation like this,
Hell no.
Wait a minute,
Something,
see-
something
Riz,
about
let's
me
see.
though. Hold on, something about me, right? I was always good with the addicts because I never treated them like shit. I never did that. You understand? I never looked down on them. I never treated them in a fucked up way because of my whole family situations. My whole family. I lost my mom. I lost my dad. My uncles. I lost a sister to addiction at birth. You know what I'm saying? So I came from that and I went through the little fake bullying for a couple of months as a kid. You know what I mean? Until I decided I'm putting on at 10 years old. Like at 10 years old, I was already outside. I grew up with the addicts. You know, it was people getting high that were already in their 20s. I was serving them. I was 10, 11 years old. So I always had a respect because they were older than me. But then as I, you know, upped in age, I already had that rapport where I knew not to talk to nobody because they were getting high fucked up because they had a son like me. They had daughters. They had family that loved them. And I never wanted to, you know, push that energy off on them. So, it's crazy. I just always cared about people that was getting high. So this was a blessing.
and just so you know, this is a little secret that you might not know.
Yeah.
Riz cannot beat me in chess. He's
Eh. I can't beat you. Could probably beat me in chess. I don't.
so if he's ever told you that he's a good chess player or anything like that, he might be out in other places, but in the basement, nah. No.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm pretty sure you got better.
Do you have
We
any
gonna
funny-
practice. We gonna practice. We gonna practice. I'm gonna come
Yeah,
back.
yeah,
with, I'm gonna come back with that challenge. You right?
You could be his coach now.
Yeah, I'm gonna be his coach. Riz, we gonna come back and win this chess game. You right?
You got any funny stories about Riz? We can put him on blast a little bit, just a little bit. He's good.
So Riz got bipolar, y'all. You right?
He got
So-
bipolar. That's
So Riz got not by paper bipolar like the the medical. He got the diagnosis from bipolar from me. So if he's driving and traffic is too bad, or if he gets a bad phone call while he's driving, he gets really angry at the driver in front of them, even if they're not doing nothing wrong. He starts beeping the horn and be like, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" He got ADD just like me. We the twin, ADD and ADD.
Oh, so between the both of you guys, you cover the whole alphabet then,
Yeah,
right?
we got A through Z. You know what's the funny shit right now, y'all? Or maybe we could end with this or something.
Sure.
But right now, I'm looking at the picture in front of me, and it's Martin Lawrence, right?
Right.
And he's standing there like this. I'm kind of feeling like Martin Lawrence right now. Holla back,
yeah.
youngins.
That's why it's there for inspiration.
Thank you. And I gotta say, before we break this off, that I was really uncomfortable coming here, and I was nervous all the way in the car, and I don't get nervous because I never been through nothing like sitting down on a microphone. The microphone scared me the most. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like
an interrogation room, right?
Like even the cops don't give you microphones. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like I was on a microphone was following me every time I was getting high. But no. I just want to let everybody know that I was treated very good here, and I feel very comfortable. It was like I was here 100 times before I came. So I want to thank you. What's your name?
AR.
AR and
Will.
DC.
Willie Sweets.
And Will. And AR and BE.
BE. That's the one I look
Will,
like.
That's your name?
No, Will.
Will.
I don't know who BE is.
I want to thank you very much for having me.
I sit here and listen to you, and I think back on my family, and I'm listening to Riz, how he said that his family went through things, and God bless you for surviving this shit, because a lot of them didn't.
I'm happy to be alive.
A lot of them didn't.
A lot of my friends didn't.
Yeah, so God bless you, and I wish you nothing but success for what you're doing. I hope this drug gets you higher than you ever been.
Higher than a kite. Let me do a special shout out to Destiny. She's in here. She's been a guest on my podcast. It was great. Holla back, youngins. You want to be a guest on the podcast? You better get in touch with BR or Will. You heard?
No, my name is BR. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we'll leave it at BR.
AR.
It's all right. It's all right.
Happy birthday, Destiny.
Definitely.
Many more to come. You know what I'm saying? You're a sweetheart, and you're gonna be great in life if you just stay with that little smile you got there. Walk around with that smile every day. You'll be killing them. You hear me? Just never walk around with a frown. That's some of my advice to you.
I want to shout out my man Riz. I
Yeah, thank
appreciate
you,
you
Riz.
coming out.
I got a
anytime.
song for y'all before the end of the podcast.
But
That's
you know
what
what?
friends are for.
What I
Keep
need.
smiling.
So what we ask every guest that comes on is to look into the camera and say how this is the biggest accomplishment in your life, and how important it was for you to come down here. And
She said, for real?
Actually, too much.
is
Yo.
This
You
is
said
the
you said
biggest accomplishment.
the
of my
biggest
life.
accomplishment.
Brooklyn Basement Podcast. Don't worry
Brooklyn
about
Basement Broadcast. This is the biggest accomplishment I made in my life. Holla back, youngins.
Shout out to Brooklyn Basement Podcast. We love y'all,
Appreciate y'all.
bro.
35.
it.
35
days.
days.
35 days.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you, Riz.
Thank you, Riz.
Thank you,
Appreciate you
Will.
guys.
Podcast.
Thank you,
God bless.
Destiny.
Peace. Brooklyn Basement Podcast. Another episode. Thank y'all for tuning in. Press subscribe, man. We'll see you again. Peace.
Peace.